Is joining us now the Charlotteburg-Mecklenburg Police Chief Kerr Putney. Thanks so much, Chief, for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, so you've said you don't want to release the video to the masses, that it will not provide what you call definitive visual evidence that Scott actually pointed a gun at police. But why not release the video anyway and let the people of Charlotte, the rest of the country, see what happened?
Well, what I am doing is allowing the family to view it. They've asked, and I have that authority. I'm not going to release it because ultimately I think I have to do what I can to protect the integrity of the investigation. Also, I don't want to set a bad precedent that I'm releasing lots of video, and I think you could be destroying some of the trust of some of our most vulnerable victims, especially those of domestic violence and sexual assault.
If the family were to ask you, they're watching it, we understand, even as we speak right now. If the family says, please release the video, would you reconsider?
Well, what I can do is, what I'll tell you is, I have a lot of people who are weighing in, and I'm being very intentional about listening to what I'm hearing. But what's also afoot is we're not going to be the lead agency who handles this investigation moving forward. So my ability to do so is going to be significantly more limited anyway.
Who's the lead agency that's going to handle this?
It's going to be our State Bureau of Investigations, and that is the independent investigative authority here in North Carolina.
The mayor, as you know, mentioned there was also body camera video in addition to the dash cam video. Is there footage from that as well?
We do have some body-worn camera footage and some dash cam footage, yes, sir.
And are there additional cameras around the scene that may have captured what happened from nearby stores or buildings, for example?
All of that is still being pieced together. We're looking at all footage that might be available, and we do have some additional body-worn camera footage, but not specific to the incident itself, not showing anything that is relative to give us a better understanding of exactly what occurred. As far as businesses, this area doesn't have businesses next to it, but we're still reviewing any available footage and asking the public if they have some to bring that to bear on this incident as well.
Chief, does any of the video you've seen actually show Keith Lamont Scott, the victim in this case, with a gun? And the second part of the question, does any of the video actually show him pointing a gun at the police?
As I said before, I don't have any visual definitive evidence that I can show and I can see him actually holding and pointing a gun at an officer. The issue, though, is what I've seen is I'm not able to see the correct angle to see a weapon in his hand in the first place. The footage I've seen doesn't give me that vantage point. So I don't see what an officer at a different angle would see.
What about him holding a gun? Forget about whether or not he was pointing it at a police officer. Was he actually holding a gun? Is that on camera?
Again, the angle in which he's standing, I can't see his hands. Therefore, I can't see a weapon in his hands or him pointing a weapon that would be in his hands. I can't see, based on the angle, that definitive piece of visual evidence that I need.
But you say you've recovered a gun. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It is correct. We have various statements that he had the weapon, that he wouldn't drop after repeated verbal commands, and at the incident there is a weapon recovered right there in close proximity to the subject.
And you're convinced that was his gun? Have you checked fingerprints, for example, on that gun?
We're doing a lot of evidence, investigative evidence such as that. I can't really speak to that right now. As I said, the investigation is being taken over by the SBI, and I'll have to let them handle those questions. But what I can tell you is the preponderance of physical evidence there supports exactly what we made in our initial statement. That yes, he had a weapon, yes, he refused to drop that weapon, and our officer fired as he perceived that imminent threat.
The Scott family's attorneys just suggested at a news conference that witnesses said the gun may have been, in their words, pulled out of the car. Is that possible?
What I can tell you is that does not fit the evidence that we have and the statements that we have as evidence that was the situation at all. I can tell you there are a lot of perspectives, a lot of realities around this. And while we're investigating it, we're on a fact-finding mission, not trying to have a perspective that would challenge anybody else's. And right now, the good thing is there's an independent investigative body that's going to take up that fact-finding mission and report out their findings in the near future.
What has Brentley Vinson, the police officer who shot Keith Lamont Scott, what has he told you about the incident?
Well, he was interviewed by detectives, and his statement of the facts, as he recalled it, support the initial information that we put out.
Could you review that? I just want to make sure that we're all precise.
Sure, absolutely. Sure. They encountered a subject. He's in a vehicle. He is armed. They are telling him to drop the weapon. He gets out of that vehicle armed, and the officer, Vincent, perceives an imminent deadly threat, and he responds by shooting Mr. Scott. And unfortunately, later at the hospital, Mr. Scott died of his injuries.
And do you believe this police officer? Do you have credibility that he's telling you the truth?
Well, listen, I'm a skeptical person by nature, but all the other physical evidence, all the other statements that we're getting from people who were there to witness it, and again, I can't gloss over the fact that there's quite a bit of physical evidence that support what he said in the sequence that he gave for the situation unfolding. So yes, I believe he's absolutely being truthful.
Last night, a man protesting was shot by another civilian. Some clergy leaders today in Charlotte said that they said today they think bringing in the National Guard troops, and you're going to bring in around 300 or 400 National Guard troops to patrol the streets tonight, they think that could exacerbate the violence, make the situation even worse. Are you concerned? Do you worry that it could?
Sir, I worry about virtually everything. This is not a job that gives you an opportunity to sleep much at night. So obviously I'm concerned about a lot of things, but I take comfort in the fact that at this point we have additional resources which increases our capacity to be able to handle any issues that we encounter. It allows us to protect First Amendment rights to free speech, and we will do that as we always have, but also we're going to hold people accountable for criminal behavior.
What are you bracing for tonight?
Again, as I said, hoping for the best, prepared for the worst. I'm glad that the state and the governor allowed us to have an additional resources to free up our people. They're going to protect the infrastructure, and our people are going to be the ones engaging the protesters if they show up, community members in general if they show up, and anybody who wants to do the city harm, will engage them as well.
Chief Putney, good luck to you. Good luck to the police force. Good luck to everyone in Charlotte. Let's hope it stays quiet and peaceful tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. On behalf of all the great officers here at CMPD, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, and I look forward to talking to you in the future.
Thank you very much. The Charlotteburg, Mecklenburg Police Chief, Chief Putney, joining us. Up next.